Ladies and gentlemen, most people underestimate the power of the morning. They think it's just a few quiet hours before the chaos begins. But what if I told you that the most powerful decisions you will ever make often happen before the world even opens its eyes? The way you begin your morning sets the rhythm for your entire life. It's not just about alarm clocks or routines. It's about intention. It's about choosing deliberately and wholeheartedly how you will show up in the world. The first few moments of your day are the birthplace of your strength, your clarity, your purpose, and your peace. Imagine waking up with your heart beating in gratitude instead of anxiety. That moment when you first open your eyes, you have a choice. Will you let the weight of yesterday carry forward, or will you decide to meet today with fresh eyes and open hands, because your morning does not belong to your problems. It does not belong to your past. It belongs to you, and how you choose to honor that matters more than anything else you will do all day. Many of us wake up and immediately reach for our phones, scroll through the noise of the world, absorb the lives of others before even acknowledging our own. We forget that our minds are the most open and absorbent right after we wake up. What are you feeding your mind when it's most vulnerable? What kind of seeds are you planting in the soil of your soul before the sun even rises high? This is the hour where your future is quietly shaped, not by loud accomplishments, but by silent disciplines. The way you begin your morning is not about productivity, it's about power. It's about grounding yourself so deeply in your values that nothing external can shake you. When you wake up and sit in stillness, when you breathe intentionally, when you say thank you for a new chance to be alive, you reclaim your life from all the things that try to distract and define you. You stop reacting and start creating, and that is the first win of the day. Winning doesn't always look like trophies or applause. Sometimes it looks like making your bed, drinking water, writing down your thoughts, or stretching your body in kindness. These are not small things. These are signals. They are quiet affirmations that say, I matter, my time matters, my life matters. When you treat your morning with respect, you begin to believe in your worth more deeply. And when you believe in your worth, you stop handing your power to things that were never meant to define you. You cannot expect your life to change if you do not change the way you start your day. Every sunrise is a reset, a quiet whisper from life itself saying, try again, begin again, become again. You don't need permission from anyone to choose differently. You don't need a special reason to start showing up for yourself. The morning is already an invitation. You just need to RSVP with action. Some days you'll wake up heavy. Life will feel like it's pressing down on your chest. But those are the days when your morning matters the most. Because those are the mornings when your strength is not found in pretending everything is okay, but in choosing to rise anyway, choosing to breathe through the tightness, choosing to get up one quiet motion at a time, choosing to say, I'm still here, I'm still trying, and that's enough for today. Your morning is where you return to yourself. It's where you whisper your intentions into the silence and trust that the universe is listening. It's where you light a fire in your spirit before the world tries to blow it out. It's where you reconnect with your why before the demands of the day try to distract you from your truth. When you start your day connected to your essence, you no longer chase the world's approval. You move from alignment, not anxiety. Start small. You don't need a perfect routine. You just need presence. Instead of waking up and rushing into the noise, take 1 minute, just one, to sit with yourself. Breathe, feel, listen, ask yourself, how do I want to feel today? Not just what you want to do, but how you want to feel, because your feelings are your compass. They guide your actions. They color your experiences. And if you don't claim them early, someone else will hijack them for you. When you start your day with intention, you become harder to shake. Your peace becomes less negotiable. Your vision becomes clearer. And your confidence grows, not from arrogance, but from alignment. You begin to trust yourself more, not because you have all the answers, but because you've started asking the right questions, the kind that begin with silence, with awareness, with truth. There is something sacred about being awake when the world is still asleep. In those quiet hours, there are no expectations, no comparisons, no distractions. Just you and your soul having an honest conversation. And that honesty is where freedom lives. That space between dreams and reality is where your strength is renewed, not in noise, but in stillness, not in proving, but in being. If you want to win in life, start winning your mornings. Not with perfection, but with presence, not with pressure, but with peace. Let the first victory of your day be showing up for yourself before you show up for the world. Let it be honoring your body, your breath, your mind, and your spirit. Let it be choosing to feel, to heal, to listen, to rise. Because how you begin is often how you continue, and how you continue becomes who you are. Your morning is not just the beginning of your day. It is the beginning of your legacy. Every sunrise is a reminder that you have another chance. Another chance to be better, to love deeper, to try harder, to rest softer, to forgive faster. And all of that begins with a single moment, a single breath, a single choice, to start your day in alignment with your highest self. And when you do that, you don't just start your day, you start winning. The moment you open your eyes in the morning, before you move a single muscle, before the world enters your mind, there's a sacred space. It lasts only a few seconds, but those seconds are everything. Because in that fragile space between sleep and wakefulness, your first thoughts are born, and those thoughts, though often dismissed as fleeting or unimportant, carry the weight of your entire day. They are not just thoughts, they are blueprints. They quietly dictate how you will feel, what you will notice, how you will respond, and ultimately, who you will become. You might not realize it, but energy begins as a whisper. It starts from a sentence in your mind: I'm tired, I'm not ready, it's too much, or maybe I'm grateful, I can do this, today is mine. And whichever thought you feed first becomes the conductor of your energy. If you begin with defeat, you carry the weight of that story into every interaction. If you begin with possibility, that light follows you like a shadow. The thought itself may feel small, but its consequences stretch far beyond what your eyes can see. Most people underestimate the power of a single thought. They think success or failure is about action alone, but behind every action is a thought. Behind every emotion is a belief, and behind every belief is a moment you once decided to trust or mistrust yourself. That moment often begins in the morning, when your spirit is raw, unguarded, and honest. You don't choose what thoughts appear first, but you do choose which ones to entertain, and that choice becomes the energy you wear throughout your day. Imagine waking up and before even touching the floor with your feet, a thought rises: what if I'm not good enough? That single idea, if unchallenged, becomes the lens through which you see everything. It shapes how you speak to yourself, how you interpret feedback, how you approach challenges. You begin to seek evidence to support the thought. Your body tightens, your shoulders drop, you move hesitantly. You speak less, you dim your light, and all of this started not with failure, but with a thought. Now imagine waking up, and instead of rushing into your day, you pause, you breathe, you place your hand over your heart and simply whisper, "Thank you, I'm here, I'm ready." That shift, subtle yet profound, sends ripples through your nervous system. Gratitude softens the tension, confidence begins to root, your body remembers its strength, your voice steadies, and as the day unfolds, you no longer seek to survive it. You rise to meet it. You claim it, and you do so with energy that empowers rather than drains. Energy is not always loud. It doesn't always announce itself with fireworks or excitement. Sometimes the most powerful energy is quiet. It is found in a calm mind, in a peaceful heart, in a moment of choosing faith over fear. You might not be able to control every situation in your life, but you can choose how to respond. That response is born not in the moment of conflict, but in the quiet preparation before it. And that preparation is shaped by the thoughts you allow into your morning mind. There's a reason people say things like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, because the tone of your day is heavily influenced by how you begin it. Your first thoughts are like a match. Either they ignite your passion or they burn your peace, so you must be intentional. You must protect your mind as fiercely as you protect your time, because everything flows from it. What you think becomes what you feel becomes how you act, and how you act becomes what you live. Have you ever walked into a room and changed the atmosphere just by how you showed up? That wasn't about your clothes or your words, it was your energy. And that energy was built long before you entered the room. It began when you chose your first thought, whether you believed in yourself or doubted, whether you trusted life or feared it, whether you remembered your worth or forgot it again. People can sense your energy before you speak, and life responds to the vibration you send out. That's why it's not selfish to start your day protecting your mind. It's necessary. It's not weakness to reject a negative thought. It's wisdom. It's not delusion to choose optimism. It's courage. Because in a world that profits from your fear, yourself, belief is revolutionary. Your peace is power, and your thoughts are the compass guiding you toward the life you're meant to live. Sometimes the most dangerous thing is not failure, but the belief that you were always meant to fail. Sometimes the strongest chain is not one around your wrist, but one in your mind, a belief that says, people like me don't succeed. It's too late. I'll never be enough. These are not facts. These are stories, and stories can be rewritten, but it begins by catching them early, right when they first rise in your morning mind. Start paying attention to your first thoughts. Are they yours or are they inherited? Are they empowering or limiting? Do they open your heart or close it? The moment you begin asking these questions, you begin the process of reclaiming your life. You shift from being a passive receiver of your thoughts to an active creator. You become the author, and with each morning you write a new page. This is not about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about alignment. It's about intention. It's about choosing to be gentle with yourself and bold with your vision. It's about recognizing that even in chaos, you can choose peace. Even in darkness, you can choose a spark. Because that spark is always within you, you don't have to create it. You just have to clear the clutter that hides it, and that clearing begins the moment you decide which thoughts get to stay. Your destiny is not shaped in some far-off future. It's shaped in the now, in the first breath of the day, in the first whisper of your heart, in the first truth you choose to believe. So wake up not just with a body, but with a soul ready to rise. Wake up not just with tasks, but with purpose. Wake up not just to exist, but to shine, because your thoughts shape your energy, and your energy shapes everything that follows. Every single day, as you wake up and open your eyes to a brand new morning, you are given the greatest gift life can offer, time. It comes quietly, without announcement, and most of us don't even notice it slipping into our hands, but once it's gone, it never comes back. And yet, despite how precious it is, time is the one thing we waste without even realizing it. We give it away to people who don't value us, to distractions that don't grow us, to habits that don't serve us, and to thoughts that don't deserve us. If there's anything you must fiercely protect, it is your time, because once it leaves, it does not return. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Notifications, emails, endless scrolling, conversations that drain us, situations that pull us away from our priorities. All of these things quietly steal pieces of our time. We tell ourselves, it's just a minute. But minutes add up to hours, and hours add up to days, and days become our lives. You cannot expect to build something meaningful when your time is scattered across things that don't align with your purpose. You cannot create clarity in your life when your focus is hijacked by everything and everyone else. There is power in deciding what you no longer give your time to. Sometimes the greatest change doesn't happen in what you add to your life, but in what you subtract. Saying no is not rejection. It's protection. It's a sacred boundary that says, my time is valuable, and I will spend it wisely. When you begin to protect your time, you start to notice the things that once took it from you. The mindless gossip, the endless comparisons, the toxic environments, the people who call only when they need something, the tasks that feel urgent but are never truly important. You begin to filter your world not through urgency, but through intention. People often ask, how do I find more time for what matters? But time isn't something you find, it's something you choose. Every choice you make either brings you closer to your purpose or pulls you further from it. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you say no to something that could have changed your life. Protecting your time doesn't mean becoming selfish. It means becoming aware. It means understanding that your energy is limited and must be directed with care. Because where your time goes, your life follows. There will always be noise. There will always be invitations, distractions, and demands that try to steal your attention. That's the nature of the world. But you don't have to give in to all of it. You have the right to choose your focus. You have the right to pause and ask, is this aligned with who I'm becoming? If the answer is no, then let it go. You are not obligated to participate in things that do not serve your growth. You are not required to explain why you are protecting your time. Your peace is reason enough. Some people will not understand your boundaries, and that's okay. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to honor the time you've been given, to use it to build, to heal, to create, to love deeply, and to live fully. When you spend your time intentionally, you begin to feel your life shifting. You stop waking up with dread. You stop ending your days wondering where the hours went. You begin to move with clarity. You become more present. You create deeper connections, and you feel something many people never get to feel: fulfillment. It is not how long you live that determines the richness of your life. It is how deeply you live each moment. You can live 80 years but spend most of that time asleep to your truth. Or you can live each hour with presence, with courage, with love, and that would be enough. But presence doesn't just happen. It must be protected. It must be chosen again and again, especially in a world that profits from your distraction. Think about your goals, your dreams, the person you want to become. Now ask yourself, how much time are you actually giving to that vision? Not just thinking about it, but actively investing in it. You can't wish for a different life and spend your time living the same patterns. You can't crave inner peace and keep handing your hours to outer chaos. If you want to become someone new, you have to spend your time like someone who already respects who they are becoming. Your time is your life. It's your canvas, your power. When you protect it, you step into leadership, not of others, but of yourself. You stop being reactive, tossed around by circumstances, and instead become intentional. You start creating a life you are proud of, not just surviving one you've settled for. You begin to make space for what truly matters: your growth, your health, your relationships, your purpose. This is not about cutting yourself off from the world. It's about showing up for it more fully because you are no longer depleted. It's about giving your best to the things that deserve your best. It's about recognizing that time is not a renewable resource. It is the most finite thing you have, and every second you spend is a second you will never get back. So ask yourself today, where is my time going? Who gets it? What gets it? And is that in alignment with my values? If the answer is no, then something has to change. And that change begins not tomorrow, not next week, but now. In this moment, because your future is being built in the now. Your joy, your peace, your legacy. It all starts with how you spend your next hour, your next morning, your next choice. There is incredible freedom in realizing you don't have to say yes to everything. That you can carve out time for rest, for creativity, for stillness, for joy. That you don't have to wait until you're burned out to set boundaries. That you are allowed to design a life that feels like home, not chaos. And that design starts with one simple but powerful question: is this worth my time? Protect your time not because you are busy, but because you are valuable. Not because you're too important for others, but because you've finally realized how important it is to be there for yourself. You are allowed to pause, you are allowed to walk away, you are allowed to breathe, and you are allowed to spend your time building a life that honors the person you truly are. Every day, we move through the world surrounded by noise. The noise of people's opinions, expectations, and judgments. The noise of comparison, deadlines, and unspoken pressure to always be available. Somewhere in the midst of that chaos, we forget something very important. That not every invitation deserves an RSVP, and not every voice deserves our attention. One of the most powerful ways to protect your time is by choosing your conversations wisely. Because your time is not only spent in hours and minutes, it is spent in words, energy, and emotional presence. And if you give too much of that away to the wrong conversations, you'll find yourself drained without ever moving forward. We often underestimate how much conversations shape our inner world. A single exchange can change the course of your day. One harsh word can plant doubt. One shallow discussion can waste your energy. One complaint-filled chat can leave you feeling heavy for hours. And yet, we walk into conversations without boundaries, as if we have no choice in who we listen to or how long we stay. But you do have a choice. You have every right to walk away from any conversation that does not respect your peace, protect your dreams, or honor your growth. Protecting your time means protecting your space, and that includes the words you allow in. There is a difference between listening and absorbing. You can hear someone without carrying their fear into your heart. You can understand someone's pain without letting it become your burden. You can be kind without being consumed. And you can offer support without surrendering your energy. Not everyone needs to be given full access to your mind, because when you allow too many voices into your space, your own voice begins to fade. You lose clarity, you start doubting what you know, you forget what matters to you. That is not connection, it is distraction, and distraction, when left unchecked, becomes destruction. There are conversations that lift you and conversations that drain you. Some people speak life into your dreams, challenge you to grow, and remind you of your worth. Others only talk about what's wrong, what's missing, and why things will never work. The difference between the two isn't always in what they say, it's in how you feel after they speak. Do you feel heavier or lighter? Do you feel inspired or discouraged? Do you feel like shrinking or expanding? Your emotions are not weaknesses, they are signals. They tell you where your energy is flowing and where it is being stolen. You don't have to explain your silence. You don't have to justify your boundaries. Choosing to protect your time is not an act of cruelty. It's an act of clarity. When you engage in every discussion, you dilute your energy. When you allow gossip, negativity, or small talk to dominate your time, you leave less room for creativity, focus, and purpose. You only have so much emotional bandwidth each day. Don't spend it on conversations that go nowhere, with people who aren't growing, in places that don't feed your spirit. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response. Not every comment deserves an answer. Not every conflict requires your participation. Silence is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you choose silence over unnecessary explanation, you protect your energy from being misused. When you walk away from arguments that exist only to prove something to people who will never understand you, you reclaim your time. There is grace in disengaging. There is strength in not needing the last word. We are taught to be polite, to listen, to stay in the room even when our heart is screaming for exit. But maturity is learning that self-respect matters more than appearances. Protecting your time means trusting yourself enough to step back when a conversation turns toxic. It means saying, "This is not for me," without guilt. It means realizing that your voice loses its power when it is constantly spent defending your worth in spaces that never saw it to begin with. Some people will not understand your boundaries. They will call you distant, selfish, or cold. Let them. Your job is not to be understood by everyone. Your job is to stay true to yourself. You are not a therapist for every broken soul. You are not a counselor for every confused heart. You are allowed to choose where your energy goes, and that choice begins with your conversations. If a discussion doesn't bring clarity, healing, laughter, or insight, It is simply taking up space. Even in relationships that matter, not all conversations are worth having. Timing matters, tone matters, readiness matters. If someone is not ready to listen with an open heart, there's no point speaking from yours. If someone only hears to respond and not to understand, the dialogue becomes a monologue. And if the exchange leaves you feeling smaller every time, then it's time to listen to what your silence has been trying to say. Enough. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow. When you continue to stay in draining conversations, you send a message that your time is disposable. But when you start choosing differently, when you end calls that spiral into complaints, when you don't engage in gossip, when you excuse yourself from spaces filled with judgment, you begin to rewire your world. You begin to create a life where energy is exchanged, not extracted, where conversations are safe, not suffocating, where your presence is honored, not taken for granted. This shift won't always be easy. There may be moments of loneliness. You might feel misunderstood, but in that space of choosing peace over noise, you'll find something deeper, alignment. You'll rediscover your own voice. You'll begin hearing your own thoughts more clearly. You'll have more time for reflection, creation, and meaningful connection. The less you say yes to unworthy conversations, the more space you create for the ones that matter. And when you finally speak, your words will have weight. They will come from a place of clarity, not exhaustion. They will carry the echo of boundaries, self-respect, and quiet strength. People will listen, not because you shouted, but because you spoke from a place of intentionality. That's the power of protecting your time. It sharpens your voice. It cleanses your space. It brings you back to yourself. In the end, your time is your life, and your conversations are how you spend pieces of that life. Choose them carefully. Give yourself permission to walk away from what no longer serves you, not with anger, not with arrogance, but with love, for yourself, for your peace, for your precious, limited time.